Hey there, and welcome to a time where billionaires own everything, human lives are worth less than profit margins, and everybody is below the poverty line. It's not 2023, it's 2077, and we're diving into the neon-soaked world of Cyberpunk for its 3rd anniversary. We've got our hands on the next-gen release, the latest updates, and the Phantom Liberty expansion, and we're going to be going through it all. The history, the hype, and the redemption of Cyberpunk 2077. As a quick foreword here, the majority of the video will contain minor spoilers. We'll show another spoiler warning towards the end of the video prior to discussing the game's various endings. So without further ado, let's begin. Cyberpunk 2077 is a game that had gathered tremendous hype prior to its release. The Polish developer CD Projekt Red had already begun to gather a cult following for their acclaimed Witcher series before announcing the new IP in 2012. Alongside this announcement, the studio released a fully CGI trailer showing off a gritty world dripping in style and potential. As the years unfolded, the studio achieved monumental success with 2015's Game of the Year, The Witcher 3, and 2016's RPG of the Year expansion, Blood and Wine. CD Projekt Red had transcended the status of an up-and-coming star and firmly established themselves as industry leaders. The era of BioWare and Bethesda's reign was waning, making way for the ascent of the new Polish monarch. The anticipation for Cyberpunk was nothing short of immense, with players eagerly expecting it to be the studio's crowning achievement. Then, E3 of 2019 catapulted everything into the stratosphere.
Please welcome Keanu Reeves.
All right. I gotta talk to you about something. We gotta talk to you about something. CD Projekt Red. Cyberpunk 2077. Do you guys want to know when the release date? Yeah. All right. Then check this out. Ready now?
On December 10th, 2020, the game finally landed in gamers' hands. But what should have been a moment of triumph was quickly soured by disappointment. The game's launch, tarred by multiple delays, unfolded as a well-documented saga of technical hiccups and game crashes. Despite these setbacks, a glimmer of greatness lay beneath the surface, acknowledged by discerning players. However, the overwhelming tide of negativity online was relentless. CD Projekt Red publicly conceded to the tumultuous state of the release, issuing apologies and urging players to seek refunds. In the aftermath of the launch, an optimistic few hoped CDPR could still make good on their promises. In the days following the notorious Cyberpunk launch, CDPR persisted behind the scenes, determined to salvage their creation. Swiftly, updates 1.1 and 1.2 were deployed, addressing technical glitches, though the hunger for missing features and gameplay depth lingered. A year later, the transformative update 1.5 arrived, marking a significant turning point. Major bugs were squashed, and a host of quality of life features were seamlessly woven in. Slowly but steadily, players were recognizing that the once diamond in the rough had evolved into the polished experience promised at launch. The journey didn't end there. Update 1.6 brought additional features and coincided with the release of the wildly popular Cyberpunk Edgerunners anime, bringing fresh players to the game and rekindling enthusiasm for the old. With a promising DLC being announced and the true commitment to improvement, CDPR had sparked a renewed hype that had eluded Cyberpunk for years. Fast forward to September 2023, a pivotal moment marked by the release of both the 2.0 update and the Phantom Liberty expansion. Virtually every element had undergone enhancement, The Wanted system underwent a complete overhaul, the perk tree saw a comprehensive rework, and the bugs were now nearly non-existent. Beyond the technical revamp, the game had a fresh story to tell. So now, in the twilight days of 2023, with all that's been said and done for the game, was it worth it?
Wake the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
When launching the game for the first time, you'll be asked whether you want to start the story as per normal, or jump ahead to the start of the Phantom Liberty storyline. For now, we'll be sticking with the base storyline and talking about Phantom Liberty when it would naturally arise within the game. If you want to jump straight to talking about Phantom Liberty, hit the timestamp on screen. From this point, you'll be asked to pick a backstory for the protagonist, V. While you might expect these to be a core component of the story, what you'll mostly find is that these backstories only offer variety to the game's intro, only playing out as one mission and the occasional dialogue option. V can start off as either a nomad smuggling goods across the border, a corpo who loses their job, or a street kid who's returning to their old life in Night City. Given the game's themes and possible endings, each life path offers some context to inform your choices later in the game, but does little to force your hand, as every ending is possible from every other life path. It's arguable that the street kid life path makes the most sense when considering the overarching story, but I'll discuss that further into the video in the spoiler section. After the backstory mission, you'll fast forward through 6 months of mercenary work as V and newfound friend Jackie try to break into the major leagues. Act 1 culminates with V and Jackie attempting to heist a biochip called the Relic from the son of a megacorp leader. Unfortunately, this heist is struck with catastrophe as Yorinobu Arasaka murders his father in cold blood and frames his murder as an external assassination. V and Jackie are able to escape security, but Jackie is fatally wounded and V is forced to insert the biochip in order to protect it.
Biochip. Don't do it. For me.
As a result of these events, V is betrayed by the fixer who hired them for the job and shot in the head. V manages to survive, but only as the biochip activates, bringing them back to life. In doing this, the biochip also began the process of overriding V's consciousness with that of a digital construct of Johnny Silverhand, an old legend of Night City played by Keanu Reeves. V only has days or weeks before they'll be completely overridden by Johnny, and cannot remove the chip themselves as it would kill them. Thus begins the game's main plot, searching for a way to safely remove the biochip before V's death. While there isn't a literal in-game timer, you will be reminded in-game that V's time is running out, and forced to watch as V's condition deteriorates, having seizures, blackouts and migraines. V is now also stuck with Johnny, who appears as a hologram to comment on and attempt to sway V's actions. Johnny is dripping with attitude and charisma, and I, as the player, was often swayed to his opinions. Keanu Reeves is outstanding here, and compelled me to agree with the ghost terrorist living in my V's head. This feeling is actually eerie when you consider that V's mind is slowly becoming Johnny's, and this can be perceived as V losing control of their own actions. Despite this, V and Johnny have a rocky relationship, often with conflicting opinions about how to handle a given situation. Act 1 works as a very compelling premise for the open-world adventure the game sets out to achieve. All V can do is scramble to survive, as Johnny whispers influence into their ear.
Come on, got iron in your hand. Gotta put it to someone's head. Pull the trigger.
Despite having an overarching plot to progress, mission to mission the player holds a decent amount of agency. You will have to make meaningful choices about who lives and dies, and how you want to go about handling things. This goes double for the side content. These storylines have wildly branching options, The main plot is divided up into various quest lines, and you can do these in just about any order you want. You'll have options for speech checks, secret ways to finish missions, and options for getting around certain objectives. Both your conscious and subconscious decisions will play into how things unfold for your V, and it does wonders for the RPG aspects of the game. You can choose to go in guns blazing, opting to focus on health and DPS, or apply the sneaky touch and platform your way past enemies. This playstyle will be made far more viable as you spec into the relevant skill trees and unlock new gameplay mechanics, like the ability to hack a greater variety of items, or new vulnerabilities on enemies to do bonus damage. Having your abilities and choices so consistently play a role in the way missions branch off into new options actually reminded me of Prey 2017. Although not quite as emergent as Prey, Cyberpunk definitely captures some of the player agency present there. On top of your attribute choices and skill choices, you'll also be able to augment your body with cyberware, special mechanical body parts to replace your standard abilities. You can get stronger legs to double jump, or military-grade eyewear to see through walls. In one of my playthroughs, I ended up relying on my wrist-mounted rocket launcher to carpet bomb an area when I was overwhelmed. The core of your cyberware is your operating system. This is a piece of equipment that everything else runs through and offers the most powerful abilities. The main choices here are the Cyberdecks, which grant you the ability to hack both enemies to do damage and apply certain effects, or the Sendevistan, which grants you the ability to slow time for everyone but yourself. On top of all of this, you can spec into various kinds of weapons to make yourself extremely potent with them. For instance, the build I mentioned earlier was a katana-wielding Sendevistan user who would gain more explosives whenever they were near an explosion, encouraging my run-and-slash playstyle as I rushed enemies and let myself get caught in my own explosions. The various builds, cyberware, and weapon options give the gameplay a similar level of variety, if not more, than the story options, as it's hard not to love the feeling of a powerful character unlocking the next, even more powerful ability. Then you have to test it out, which nets you experience, and on the loop goes. As you're playing, you'll be able to swap out or upgrade your weapons through customization and crafting. Within the game world, you'll be able to gather crafting components of various qualities, as well as weapons, clothes, and cyberware, which can be dismantled into components. While the crafting isn't necessary to keep up with most enemies, it certainly feels right to keep your favourite rifle up to scratch with the best specs it could have. While out in the world, you'll also earn and gather eddies, the game's currency. This will create its own feedback loop, where you'll typically finish off a mission and use the eddies gained to purchase some new cyberware or weapons, and then you'll want to use the new gear to earn more eddies. You can also purchase new clothes, cars, health items, apartments, and even the ability to use your money to persuade NPCs in mission-specific dialogue. All of this takes place in Night City, a lawless paradise for shady businesses, corrupt police, and criminal gangs. Night City has weathered various corporate wars, resulting in thick layers of neon painted over grime and death. It's all the appeal of Las Vegas, painted over the poverty and horror of Akira. For those unaware, Akira and the cyberpunk genre is a genre of sci-fi that explores futuristic technology's impact on society, corporate control, and dystopian life living under the poverty line. Night City is no exception to this, and the contrast between the beautiful neon lights and the garbage-filled underbelly form a juxtaposition that runs through the entire game. A beauty with a rotten core. The game is a graphical and artistic masterclass, boasting ray tracing on consoles and the upgraded path tracing on PC. Sometimes I would find myself choosing to drive for the next mission simply to enjoy the environment. As you move through the world, you'll be offered side quests, which will more often than not start a small quest line or will feature returning characters to missions later on. This gives the city a feeling of interconnectivity that keeps it feeling alive. You can take on small contracts, start crimes, stop crimes, visit specialty shops, talk to numerous NPCs, purchase cars and new apartments. As of the 2.0 update, the Wanted system has been completely revamped, and now has a Tier 5, which calls in the ever-looming threat of MaxTac. Choosing to just cause chaos and fend off the law has a similar feeling to doing so in a game like Grand Theft Auto, with the added bonus of a pseudo-boss battle at the end. MaxTac is specifically designed to be the answer to a cyber psycho, a person who succumbs to insanity after installing too much cyberware. The quest line to track down and subdue these psychos often reveals harsh details about life in Night City, as the psychos represent the extreme end state of life in Night City. Their presence serves as a stark reminder of the city's harsh realities. Amidst the chaos, Night City emerges as a remarkably immersive and lived-in game world, where every corner exudes a unique narrative. The attention to detail creates an environment that feels not just like a backdrop, but a character in its own right. This quality manages to surpass the literary notion that a narrative can either revolve around a character or around the world they inhabit. Cyberpunk successfully accomplishes both of these ideas. Anticipate dedicating 20 to 30 hours for the main quest alone, with side content and additional playthroughs easily doubling that. The Phantom Liberty expansion contributes approximately another dozen hours to the experience. Phantom Liberty's narrative unfolds somewhere in the midst of the game, triggering after concluding the Voodoo Boys questline. A distress call pulls you into the new area, Dogtown, to save the president's life. As you enlist as a spy alongside Idris Elba's portrayal of Solomon Reed, the narrative delves into a character-focused drama of betrayal, questions of loyalty, and themes of morality. Playing out like the best parts of a cyberpunk Bond movie, the expansion offers multiple story paths, differing wildly in the last third. But I'll save that for the spoiler section. Just know, these endings hit me harder than any game has in years. I couldn't help but watch the entire credit sequence in quiet contemplation. You'll embark on a diverse range of missions in the expansion, ranging from explosive battles against machines to espionage-filled infiltrations in high-rise casinos. The DLC introduces engaging random encounters, including supply drops sparking minor faction battles, some of which demand strategic navigation through Dogtown's environment. Encouraging exploration, the expansion unveils a new perk tree in the Relic, requiring the discovery of data caches to level up. Although simple, the abilities offered prove to be powerful additions to your gameplay options. As you delve into Dogtown, you'll discover a densely layered environment, surpassing even Night City, with its abundance of little details, hidden areas, new vendors, and NPCs. Phantom Liberty feels like a distilled highlight reel of the base game, reminiscent of CDPR's exceptional Blood and Wine expansion for The Witcher 3. Just as Blood and Wine was hailed as a pseudo-Witcher 4, Phantom Liberty continues this tradition, refining and building upon the best elements of the game. Okay, we're about to enter spoiler territory. If you don't want every possible ending spoiled for you, skip to the timestamp on screen now. If you haven't finished the game yet, do not watch this section. Come back when you're done. Okay? Ready? Ready. Let's go.
I don't know. A happier ending for everyone involved.
Here, for folks like us, wrong city, wrong people.
As Phantom Liberty takes place partway through the story and has the first endings that can be reached, we'll talk about it first. To provide a quick summary of Phantom Liberty's events, Songbird, a skilled netrunner recruited into the NUSA by Reed, was tasked with executing Reed 7 years ago, and has since been exploited for illegal access past the Black Wall, a barrier holding back the rogue AIs of the web. In a move of desperation, Songbird arranges a deal with Colonel Hansen to take down the President's ship, as Song needs Hansen's help to access a piece of technology capable of curing her Blackwall-induced terminal illness. V is then recruited as a backup plan with promises to cure their biochip condition. V is subsequently enlisted into the NUSA service by Myers and Reed when Song appears to be captured by Hansen. The culmination of these events occurs in the mission Firestarter, where players must choose between siding with Reed and the NUSA in order to capture Songbird, or align with Songbird and facilitate her escape from NUSA custody. Depending on which side you choose will dictate which of the story paths the DLC takes for its conclusion. Choosing to ally with Songbird has you assisting with her escape plan from Night City, being a space shuttle bound for the moon. The NUSA intervenes, exposing Maya's brutality as they violate international law and slaughter the spaceport security. As Song and V attempt to fight through the army of NUSA operatives, we're treated to this absolute gem of an adrenaline-filled, desperation-induced track. Overwhelmed by the onslaught, your only option is to re-enter the Black Wall. In a chilling display of power, Song manipulates the Black Wall to hack into and execute every soldier between V and their destination. On board the train to the launch terminal, Song confesses to betraying not only Reed 7 years ago, but also V, admitting that she can only save herself. Song then falls unconscious from prolonged exposure to the Black Wall. With the rain beating down, V carries Song across the final stretch towards the shuttle, when Reed emerges. Reed confronts V in a tense clash of ideologies, where Reed argues that the NUSA provides the best chance for Song's survival, promising assistance for both her and V. You must choose. Either execute Reed to save Song from the NUSA, relinquishing your only cure, or hand Song back to Reed, securing a cure from the biochip, but at the cost of Song's fate.
Not giving her up, Saul. No. Fuck.
Choosing to eliminate Reed, someone who had once been a friend and ally to V, leaves V as the only character left standing. After carrying Song to the awaiting shuttle, V and Johnny watch as Song ascends to safety, contemplating the harsh reality of their futile efforts in Dogtown, and once again they face the prospect of imminent death. In this ending, V gains no cure, receives nothing in return, and is left to continue the search for salvation. But hey, at least Song made it. Opting to return Song to Reed unlocks the newly added Tower ending, a resolution laden with thematic complexity. V awakens from a 2-year coma to find the NUSA has cured them of their biochip, but at a steep price. Their ability to use any cyberware is forfeit, marking the end of their former life as a mercenary. The consequence extends further, as V has lost his only friends during the 2-year coma. Night City 2 seems to forget their deeds, buried under the relentless march of time. This ending contemplates the ideas of sacrifice and reinvention, as V survives but must grapple with the profound loss of identity and the unique qualities that once defined them. The conflicting nature of this choice underscores the thematic depth of Phantom Liberty, inviting players to contemplate the enduring impact of their decisions. Exploring the alternate path of Phantom Liberty involves siding with Reed during Firestarter. This results in Songbird devising her own escape plan, only to be swiftly captured by MaxTac. To rescue her, Veed and Ree orchestrate an assault on the MaxTac transport, liberating Song before she faces permanent imprisonment. However, Reed sustains injuries in the fighting, and Song escapes to an underground bunker. In this route, V is forced through a hellish horror section, navigating Blackwall-possessed mechs that insta-kill V if detected. This sequence offers a stark contrast to anything else the game has to offer, and vividly portrays the terror of the Blackwall and the atrocities NUSA has subjected Songbird to. The climax unfolds at the bunker's core, where Songbird serves as a conduit for rogue AIs. Here, Songbird reveals her desire to die, pleading with V to grant her release. V faces a gut-wrenching choice. Either fulfill Songbird's request, ending her suffering, but extinguishing any hope of the NUSA crafting a cure.
Thank you. And I'm sorry for everything.
Or Reject Mercy, returning Songbird to NUSA captivity, but securing a cure for V.
No. Wanna believe I'm giving you another chance. So I won't do it, Somi. I can't. I won't.
No, please. You're leaving me to a fate worse than death.
Somi!
Opting to return Song to the NUSA unlocks the Tower ending, an outcome that not only shatters V's place in the world, but now also casts a lingering shadow of guilt upon all the characters involved, with Songbird suffering the worst fate. The conclusions offered by Phantom Liberty weave into the broader narrative of Cyberpunk 2077, enriching the overall storyline with layers of moral ambiguity and emotional complexity. Your choices in the DLC echo the overarching themes of sacrifice, self-preservation, and the cost of survival in Night City's unforgiving landscape. Where the narrative of Phantom Liberty is self-contained, each of the main quest lines of the base game unlock options for the game's climax. These quest lines, or more importantly, these relationships, provide friends to call upon as the inevitable final choice looms. During the events of the Voodoo Boys questline, we're brought past the Black Wall to the unrestricted side of the web. Here, we meet Alt Cunningham, a digital replication of Johnny's ex-lover and the original creator of the Soulkiller program. Arasaka had created the Relic and utilized the Soulkiller program with the intention of creating immortality. Alt explains that Soulkiller stores the minds it's collected in Mikoshi, a server within Arasaka Tower. This leads V to meet with Lady Hanako, who seeks justice for her father's murder and, in exchange for V's assistance, offers access to Mikoshi. After meeting with Lady Hanako, V collapses from a severe biochip malfunction. Shortly afterward, V is advised they're out of time and will soon die. This prompts V to sit atop Misty's Esoterica and contemplate their options with Johnny as they look out over the Night City. There are a possible 5 endings, with intertwining paths between the way the endings start and finish. The 5 endings are the Arasaka, Pan Am, Johnny and Rogue, Path of Least Resistance, and Secret endings. First off, we'll talk through the Arasaka ending. The Arasaka ending is unlocked by default, serving as the only option for players who didn't progress through any of the game's other questlines. In this ending, V agrees with Hanako's plan. She exposes the board members to the flaws of their current leader, allowing her to ascend to power. Following this, V collapses in an elevator, waking up on the spaceship Mikoshi, where Arasaka scientists conduct tests in an attempt to safely remove the biochip. Opting for this ending has Arasaka reclaim the biochip, ultimately leading to them granting immortality to Saburo Arasaka. V is eventually presented with 2 options, either agreeing to be part of the Secure Your Soul program and forfeiting their mind and body to Arasaka, with the promise of future reincarnation, or refusing and having roughly 6 months left before V's impending death. Both choices grant the Devil achievement. The next ending revolves around Pan Am, and is only available for players who have fully completed Pan Am's questline with the Aldecaldos. In this conclusion scenario, V, Pan Am, and the Aldecaldos band together to breach Arasaka and reach Mikoshi. The assault takes a toll, resulting in the loss of many Aldecaldo members, but the group perseveres and confronts the final boss, Adam Smasher. After defeating Smasher, the group connects to Mikoshi, presenting a crucial choice, either keeping V's body or handing it over to Johnny. The one who does not retain the body is transferred to cyberspace with Alt. Opting to keep the body grants V roughly 6 months to live. They join Pan Am and the Aldecaldos, breaking free from Night City to start a new life elsewhere. This grants the Star achievement. Choosing Johnny results in him coming to terms with V's sacrifice, visiting V's grave, and leaving Night City to begin life anew. This unlocks the Temperance achievement.
Oh, V. Can't carry carry this around anymore, you know. Can't keep wallowing. Can't keep obsessing over what happened. Couldn't forget you anyway. I'm wearing your goddamn face. Thanks for... well, for everything.
The third ending unfolds as V chooses to grant their body to Johnny, allowing him and Rogue to assault Arasaka Tower together, echoing events from 50 years prior. Johnny and Rogue fight through the tower, confronting Atom Smasher. Tragically, this time, Atom Smasher kills Rogue. Subsequently, Johnny accesses Mikoshi and faces the same choice as the previous ending. Both choices remain possible, but thematically, Johnny makes the decision, not V. If we pick Johnny, the ending sequence unfolds similarly. However, if we pick V, they become the Legend of Night C, taking over and running Rogue's bar. Following this, V embarks on a final mission to solidify their fame. As the shadow of the 6-month timer weighs on V, the mission involves assaulting the Blue Palace, the world's largest casino, situated on a space station. This ending unlocks the Sun achievement. Returning to the rooftop where V and Johnny contemplated their choices, players also have the option to second guess whichever path they've chosen. This prompts the option for V to end their life on their terms. V's reasoning is rooted in the belief that any other course of action would result in the death of their friends, and this way, V can prevent that from happening. V and Johnny discuss the value of their lives, ultimately deciding to pull the trigger and end both of their journeys. This ending is considered one of the most tragic, as V's friends are left heartbroken, and neither Johnny nor V receives a second chance. Notably, this is the only ending where players do not face Atom Smasher as the final boss, depriving them of both the final challenge of the game and depriving the player of the opportunity to avenge David and Rebecca.
V, you sure about this?
As long as you got nothing against it.
Not how I'd have done it. But that's all right.
Just like that. No pushback.
Huh. Might have learned a little something from you too. Is it time?
You know, it really is beautiful.
Been nice working with you, V.
Yeah. With you too, Johnny.
Finally, we have the secret ending. In this path, Johnny presents V with an alternative when they wait roughly 5 minutes without selecting an ending. Unlocking this ending requires fostering a true friendship with Johnny, not by appeasing him, but by challenging him when he's in the wrong and showing kindness during moments of growth. Although the game tracks Johnny and V's relationship as it develops, the trigger for the secret ending, which is arguably the best ending, hinges on an extremely specific dialogue choice in a single mission. Thematically, this choice makes sense, but it can be frustrating to have the entire ending locked behind one incorrect response out of hundreds of interactions with Johnny. Specifically, you need to tell Johnny,
No, Johnny, you fucked that up too. What do you want from me? Okay. But as second chances go, this is your last.
This hyper-specific requirement can be interpreted as V calling out Johnny for his bad behaviour at a critical moment of reflection, but still offering one last chance. Translating this to Johnny's actions during the rooftop scene, he finally decides that regardless of everything else, he'll be there for V. The alternate option presented by Johnny is a suicide run against Arasaka. No Panam, no Aldecaldos, no Rogue, and no support. V and Johnny would walk through the front door of Arasaka Tower and fight their way to Mikoshi alone.
If I gotta die, rather fall into my grave, gun in hand and on fire, and not drag anyone down with me.
Huh. You just discovered what it takes to become a legend. Grab your iron. Let's mobilize.
This ending is by far the most challenging in the game. During the assault, V constantly suffers relic malfunctions, losing permanent segments of their health bar. Adding to the difficulty, the ending can be completed in a single attempt, as if V dies, they'll be sent all the way back to the rooftop. If V successfully survives the assault, defeats Atom Smasher, and enters Mikoshi, they'll once again be presented with the choice of who keeps the body. Choosing V here results in the Sun achievement, while Johnny gives the Temperance achievement. Each choice that leads to this pivotal point adds a unique hue to the overarching narrative, underscoring the game's exploration of the blurred lines between right and wrong in a city defined by its stark contrasts. These relationships are defined by the player's choices, encapsulating all that the player has done throughout their time in the game. In essence, the beauty of Cyberpunk 2077 endings lies in not just its diversity, but in the thematic richness and the interplay of player agency and narrative consequence. The conclusion of V's journey isn't merely a binary choice, it's a culmination of the relationships nurtured, the alliances forged, and the moral compass guided by your actions. The game pays homage to its cyberpunk roots, embracing a dystopian ethos where no ending is free of complexity and consequence. The journey through Night City, with all of its twists and turns, ultimately reflects the intricate tapestry of choices made in a world where morality is often a shade of grey. When looking back on Cyberpunk's journey, the question arises, should we encourage a title that launches in such a flawed state? The answer, as the neon-lit streets of Night City can attest, lies in the transformative power of redemption. What began with an infamous launch has since evolved into an extraordinary gaming experience. As we approach the game's 3rd anniversary and the imminent release of the Ultimate Edition, it's hard to ignore that CDPR has not just fixed a game, they've realised its full potential. In the end, in the luminous sprawl of Night City, where glitches once heralded broken promises, you'll find a city reborn. And much like the city within, Cyberpunk 2077 has transcended its flaws to become breathtaking.
Think this is it, kiddo?
Guess so.
Think we can find it in our heart to forgive each other?
Yeah. I can. You?
Think I can too.
That is it. That is the video. Let me tell you, this was by far the most work I've done for a video, but also my most fun. I'm absolutely loving working on the channel, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. Let's talk Cyberpunk and gaming redemption stories down in the comments. Do you think Cyberpunk will win any of the Game of the Year nominations? Personally, I think it'll take home the win for Best Narrative, but not Best Ongoing Game or Best Community Support. As always, if you've made it to the end, hit the like button and consider subscribing. I'm going to be doing this for a long time to come, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. Finally, thank you for sticking it out to the end. It's been a pleasure, and just remember,
You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.